We're on, okay. This is the same day. What is this, the 10th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the 10th. And I talked to you guys this morning. We're still working on this bass. This is the one with the bad neck. And you saw me cutting it off and going through all that. And this morning we showed some of the semi-finished product. And I said I was going to put the frets in, and I just did. I probably should have showed some of that too, but they're all in. And I just thought some of you people ask how you dress frets. I'm going to show you how I do it. You know, I'm not going to do the whole thing here. I'll do a couple and show you how the way I look at it anyway. You know, and if Joe, if you can zoom in here, I already took this file, which I got from Stu Mac, by the way. This is a standard file you get. It's like a fret dressing file, you know, and I just go down after I cut the ends like that. I cut the ends. Of course, people all know that, I'm sure. It leaves like a little burr here. You can see that, Joe? Yeah. Hmm?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little dark on this side.
And what I do, yeah, the other side, I already took some of it down, you know. That's the first thing you do after you get the frets in. You make sure they're now secure. And I just take this and hold it, you know, square. Make sure you don't want to turn it. You can do that later when you put the bevel in. But first of all, you want to keep the thing parallel with the fingerboard. You go up and down like that. I'm just going to show you here because I'd have to turn the bass around to do this side. I'll just show you what I do and then you can see, okay? But basically this is it right here. It's just a easy motion, straight up and down. I go underneath it a little bit too, just to get that little, where the tang of the fret sticks out a little bit. I get that first. All the way down on both sides. That's pretty much it as far as that's concerned. I still have to finish the other side. I'm not going to do that now. After that, and there's all kinds of devices for beveling the frets. They have special files and all that stuff. And I guess they work. For me, I used to do it with just an old, raggedy old file until I got this. You know. I just hold it on a slight angle like that and go in very gently all the way down. No, that one isn't quite square yet. Take a little more off first. Sometimes if you don't have that thing completely square, this file will catch on there. I didn't have it quite all the way down. I start off with a real shallow bevel too, and if I want to make it deeper, I can do that later. First thing I do is keep it shallow. Every once in a while, because I'm just so used to doing this, I can feel a little bit here now. I go back and catch the bottom a little bit. Now this neck, this is the new neck that we put on. When I was putting the frets in that other neck, one of the problems was the frets would not hold because the fingerboard wasn't quite right, and it turned out the neck wasn't quite right either. And it took me all day long just to put the frets in and try to get it to work, and I just gave up. I said, no, this is not working. This set of frets here, I put these in like 35 minutes. The whole fret, all the frets, it didn't take any time at all. That's because everything is right. The fingerboard is really solid. The bloodwood on the trim on the side is nice and solid. The frets dig in real good. You know, I always keep a can of air around and a brush. Get rid of all the junk that's on here, right? Can you take a little close up of the bevel, Joe? Just a little, can you see it?
Yep.
Hmm? Well, the next thing I do a little bit more with this file, and this, you don't see these files anymore, by the way. These were my dad's. He was a machinist. Oh, these files have been in my hands since the days of Danny Armstrong back in 1967 when I first came here. When I first started learning how to put frets in and trim frets, I learned most of that stuff from my friend Eddie Deal, who was a great guitar player and a great fret person, if you want to say that. He really knew how to do this stuff. I learned a lot from Eddie. Thank you, Eddie. And he had a set of files similar to this, and I used to use his when I was doing the work. I was home one time back, and my dad was still around. We were down in the cellar, and he had a drawer full of stuff, and I saw these files, and I said, yeah. He said, yeah, just take them. I'm not using them. This one here, like I said, I've had it in my hands all those years. What I do with this one is just go down the side a little bit more, like that. All I'm doing is cleaning up that edge. It's hard for you to even see it with an edge there, but I make sure that is completely, I don't feel anything sticking out at all down there. I can still feel the edge here because I haven't done that yet. But the line down here, I get all that first. And the other thing about these files too, when I got them, they weren't like, I took a grind, I put them on the sanding wheel, and I ground the edges all off nice and smooth, so they wouldn't dig into the wood. You know, you can't scratch the wood at all like this. And I think Stu Mack has a set of files that are made for this kind of work. I've never seen them. You said you have them, right, Sherman? And a couple other guys I knew. And they work, I guess. I'm sure they do.
We're all jealous of these files.
Everybody, Pete wants these files, and Joe wants these files. You know. I don't know who. When I go, I don't know who I'm going to give them to. I mean, I'll just have to say, it's up, you guys can fight it. Yeah. But they're perfect for this. They're so fine, there's no way you can't damage the fret at all. You know? And like I said, for me, they've been in my hands all these years, you know, so down here it's kind of hard to go this way, so I just go in here a little bit and get that nice and even. Yeah, pretty much, yeah, pretty clean all the way down so far. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last thing, as far as the files are concerned anyway, I take this little guy, and this was in my dad's drawer too. This one here, he said there was a guy, I think his name was Johnson. He was a gunsmith, and he lived in that little town of Pitcairn. And my dad said he had gotten this file from him. He used to file the firing pins on the rifles and stuff. With this file, he gave it to my dad to use for some machine work, and my dad said, "Yeah, just take it, Carl." I think I can use it for frets. And boy, can I use it! Listen, whoa! Maybe get on the other side, Joe.
Yep.
Yeah. Next thing I'm going to do is take the corners and get that little edge off. And here's whenever you can tell too. I mean, there's lots of signs that you can read as you go down the frets. But one thing for sure is when you take these corners off, if you're sitting there for 6 years or a whole half hour or 15 minutes or even 5 minutes trying to get that burr off of there, something is definitely wrong. And I haven't done this yet, so I may have to show you that something's wrong. I can tell by looking at this. It's going to be very cool. You just go, what I do is I go in, take that little corner off, and go in the way. And that's it. And I go back over the top again like that. That's pretty much it. every time. And again. And again. That's it. Hold it. Now I can just, now I go, I'm slick. You know. Yeah. And if the frets are in there secure, you can do that real quick, you know. If there's any kind of, the frets aren't in there quite right, you're going to be there for a while, and then you'll start seeing some space underneath the fret. These are pretty solid, you know. At least on the ends. And I usually do this right away, and then after a while, you know, the base sits around here for a couple of days, and we're sanding and we're doing other things. Before it goes out of here, I go over all this again just to make sure, because sometimes, you know, things move around a little bit. Maybe one of them comes up, or maybe the fingerboard shrunk a little bit in that time, and the fret sticks out a little bit. Before it goes in the box and we ship it out, I go over all this. Either me or Joe or somebody goes over it, you know, for sure, make sure everything's okay. And that's it. And I know Stu Mac has a whole bunch of the little thing they have with the sandpaper on it, where they go in and clean up the frets and all that. I just use regular. I get these at Rite Aid or CVS or someplace. It's just regular salon, kind of, you know, you can do your nails with it while you're at it. And I just go over that. That's where I get. That's where I do all that stuff. I go down the sides a little bit like this and try to get it nice and clean. And even after that's all done, I just take that little bit. I don't want to make it too round. I often thought that those early Fenders, I don't know if they're still doing it, the Fender bases and a lot of them, the frets were so round on the ends. A lot of guys I knew back in those days used to complain of the frets falling off the edge of the fingerboard, you know, and that was one of the reasons I thought, you know. I remember, you know, refretting a lot of those bases in those days, and then taking the fret all the way, what I call all the way out to the end, like this, instead of rounding it off back here somewhere, you know. I round it off at the very, very end, and that way you get the whole fret there, so you're not, it doesn't fall off, you know. And I just go over each one like that. And it's real easy. I just take that little thing off the top. And you can go over it with a finer one. This is finer than that one. You know. And the last thing we do is a piece of steel wool around here or something. Yeah. This is 4/0 steel wool. After I do all that, then I just go in, clean it up. Like that. That's it. I'm going to stay here a little bit longer tonight and finish this, the whole job. But I just thought while I was doing it, you guys would like to see some of this, you know. That's pretty much it, you know. I wish I could have shown you. Well, Joe was doing some sanding and stuff too. The machines were running, so it probably wouldn't have been a good idea to do it. We do have other things to do here.